Shalom, Yasharala, Shalom. I want to give all glory and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakakadash, Barakatah, Yahweh. This lesson is going to be what is the end? What is the final chapter really for this current board? Always use that analogy, that game analogy or movie analogy, because that's really what you're living in. People don't realize that you're living in a movie. You're really living in the movie. You have the star actors, support cast, and the extras. You know, most people don't realize they're living in a movie, a real life motion picture. This is a real life motion picture. This is a real life motion picture. And like I said, you have the stars, the supporting cast, the extras, best support actor, actress, star actor, star actresses, extras. And this board, what is, like I said earlier, what is the now I'm comparing it to like a game or something. But this board or this scene, to compare it back to a movie, the analogies, the metaphors, this board or this scene, what is the end of this board, this scene, or movie, if you will? And ultimately, it is the destruction of modern day Babylon. America, oh sweet America. Shining sea from shining sea. How are you going to feel when Yahweh has put his hands upon thee? Now I can keep rhyming that and keep rhyming it and keep rhyming it, but I'm not. But the end, man, the end is fire. The end is fire. The end is fire. And as a matter of fact, let's get into it. Now we prophets, we apostles, we scholars, those of us in this fold, in this ilk, that understand what's going on, the signs of the times. I mean, by now, man, even worldly people can see the signs of the times. I mean, you talk to people that's in the world, they'll tell you like, it's getting real prophetic out here. You know, you see, you hear, can you conceive, do you believe? So even a 2/3 can tell you that it's looking prophetic out here. Or even a Gentile, a heathen, can tell you. You know, they'd tell you, like, things ain't the same. Yada, 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 yada. But this is all the things leading up to the final chapter, the final board. And that is, according to these texts, these ancient texts, these ancient scrolls, the destruction of Babylon, modern day Babylon. Remember, the old Babylon was destroyed. This is the new Babylon. And we know this is the new Babylon because the new Babylon, the new Egypt, really, man, this place is really all of the old wicked kingdoms wrapped up in one, if you really want to get down and dirty. This place is all of the old wicked kingdoms stacked in one. And it makes sense because each kingdom, you got to think about it. When Egypt was doing its thing in wickedness, it was the Hamites. They represented that. The Hamites are here in America. You know, you have all type of Africans. I ain't talking about the Israelites. I'm talking about the Hamites. You got all type of Hamites here in this pot. When Assyria was doing its thing in wickedness, you had the Assyrians. That represents the Assyrians. The Assyrians are here in America in this pot. When you had Persia doing its thing in wickedness, you had the Persians being represented. The Persians are here in America in this pot. If you see what I'm doing, you understand. You have you had the ancient civilizations of the Ammonites and the Moabites, and it represented them. And you see the Moabites and Ammonites are here in America in this pot. All of everybody is here in America. So it makes sense that all of the old kingdoms are wrapped up in this one kingdom. And now you have old Esau. Esau, Edom. Esau, Edom, man. When Rome and Greece were doing their thing in wickedness, that was representation of the Edomites. You have the Edomites here in America. So, and I can even go with that I guess I could go with that. When you had the Israelites doing our thing in righteousness, with King Solomon, 40 years of peace. Even to King David, it was still righteousness, but even though he was warring with these nations, more so with the Hamitic nations, it was still, righteousness. And then, the Israelites went into exile, dispersed, scattered to the four corners. The wicked kings, all of our, Jeroboam, Rehoboam, a couple more wicked kings. So we're all here in America. The Israelites are here in America. All of the nations are here in America. This is the melting pot, one big pot, one big jumbo, one big salad, one big pot of everybody being here. So it makes sense that all of the, that America is wrapped up. All of the kingdoms is wrapped up here in America. So when we say America is Babylon, that's valid. When we say America is Rome, that's valid. When we say America is Greece, that's valid. When we say America, even to some extent, is Israel, Judah, to some extent. That's kind of true too. Because this place originally, before it was called America, it was called Turtle Island. And the 10 tribes, the Northern Kingdom was here. Christopher Columbus came upon the 10 tribes that were here. So even then, this place was technically Israel. But you get what I'm saying, man. America is everything wrapped in one. And it's definitely Babylon, and it's definitely Egypt. And these prophecies go into the new Babylon, the new Egypt. So let's get into it. Revelations 18:4 says, "And I heard another voice from heaven saying, 'Come up out of her, my people, that you be not partakers of her sins.'" And who is Yahweh's people? He tells you all through this Bible, all through these biblical scrolls, who his people is. It's very possessive. All type of possessive language. Their God, my people, their God, my people. It's all through the Bible. It says, come up out of her, my people, that you be not partakers of her sins, and that you receive not of her plagues. Because America, which is modern day Babylon, which is modern day Egypt, and all of the other kingdoms, modern day Rome, modern day Greece, modern day Persia, modern day Assyria, is everything wrapped up in one over here. The plagues is going to come to this place. Famine. They're already talking about, civil war. Eventually is going to happen. Collapse, society collapse, financial collapse. You're already on the cuffs, on the brinks of these things ultimately happen, going forth rather. It's prophesied to happen. Second Esdras, prophet Ezra, he brings it out in Second Esdras 15 and Second Esdras 16. He brings it out. All of this is talking about modern day Babylon, modern day Egypt, which is the U of S of A. And Second Esdras 15, Second Esdras 16, it speaks on these prophecies, speaks on it just as well as Revelations 18 and these other prophecies I'm going to go into. These other books speaks on it. Revelations 18, it says, "Come up out of her, my people, that you be not partakers of her sins, and that you receive not of her plagues, for her sins have reached into heaven." And what is her sins, man? The alphabet community, they doing what they doing, letting that spirit run rampant everywhere. They're destroying the minds of the youth. That's sin. Not keeping the commandments to the best of human ability. That's sin. The moral decay, the sexual expansion that has been placed throughout this land, through social media, through entertainment, even to these corporations and these employers and whatnot. You're supposed to pay a person the same day they work. That's in the Bible. You're not supposed to wait several days to pay a person. Wait to the end of the week to pay somebody for all the work that they did that day. The Bible says that's sin. And mostly people that work are poor. Let's just be frank. Poor people work for money. Poor people work for money. Let's just call a spade a spade. They're ultra rich. The rich, they don't work for money. Their money works for them. So the prophecy or the law that's in Deuteronomy about when a hired servant is done with their labor, you're supposed to pay them that same day. If not, that hired servant, this is roughly paraphrased, he will, basically pray to Yahweh, cry off to Yahweh, and then it would be sin. That's like 80% of Americans. Even you middle class. You middle class, if you work for money, you're poor. Even to you lower class, poor. You're all poor. We tell you who got the real money. And we name drop them all the time. And everybody should know it by now, man. It's 2025. You got Google, you got ChatGPT, you got all type of AI, you got all type of stuff to know about everything, man. If you don't know who run the world, then you just an idiot. The bankers. And who created the banks? We tell you all the time. Rothschilds, Rockefellers, DuPonts, Oppenheimers, etc., Rockefellers, Rothschilds. Oppenheimers, DuPonts, Gettys, Orsinis. All of these Edomite families that have lied and deceived to some degrees. It's no secret. But they're the rich, the ultra wealthy, the 1%. They can say they're rich, they're wealthy. Everybody else is poor. You work for money, you're poor. But I'm digressing. Revelations 18, and the Israelites, we're only poor because of what has happened, which has transpired. Because ultimately, we're not poor. Yahweh, we're the children of Israel. We're his silver and his gold, as he states in Joel 3. They have taken my silver and my gold. They have taken the children, the heavenly possession, the godly possession, the apple of his, the apple of his eye. The children of Israel, man. So spiritually, physically, these curses and these prophecies, we're poor, but ultimately, spiritually, and really, we're not. We're rich in spirit, as the prophecy says. The heirs of the throne, the Israelites. But I'm digressing a bit. Revelations 18, it says, "For her sins have reached into heaven, and God have remembered her iniquities." It says, "Reward her," it's talking about America, modern day Babylon. "Reward her even as she rewarded you." And that's talking about how they have done the Israelites, how they have treated God's people. "Reward her even as she rewarded you, double unto her, double according to her works, and the cup which she have fill to her double." So yeah, man. Therefore, verse 8, Revelations 8, it says, "Therefore shall her plagues come in one day." And it's going to tell you the plagues: death, mourning, sorrow, famine, and she shall be utterly burnt with fire. For strong is Yahweh who judge her. So that's who's bringing this thing about. That's who's bringing these prophecies down. The pike. It says, "And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning." Because this place is going to be hit by nukes. This place is going to be hit by nukes. That's the prophecy. That's prophetic. You don't believe it? All right, let's jump to another precept upon precept. Jeremiah 51. "Thus says Yahweh, behold, I will raise up against Babylon," which is America. When you tie it all in, this is America, "and against them that dwell in the midst of them, that rise up against me, a destroying wind." What is that wind that's destroying? What is a destroying wind? Sounds like a nuke to me. It says, "And will send unto Babylon fanners." What are fanners? Destroying winds, fanners, all of these context clues, all of these cold words. And I will send unto Babylon fanners that shall fan her. Destroying winds, fanners, they're going to fan her. It says, "And shall empty her land, for in the day of trouble they shall be against her round about." Jumping down to verse 4, it says, "Thus said the slain shall fall in the land of the Chaldeans, and they that are thrust through in her streets." Jumping down to verse 6, it says, "Flee out of the midst of Babylon, and deliver every man his soul." And that's probably more than likely talking about the Israelites, the elect. The righteous, the true righteous. It says, "Be not cut off in her iniquity. For this is the time of Yahweh's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense." And we already know all of the stuff that has taken place here in America. All of the wickedness from Christopher Columbus all the way to now. Jeremiah 51:7, it says, "Babylon has been a golden cup in Yahweh's hand." So really, when you're really in the spirit, you know that what it's really saying is this: America has been a golden cup in Yahweh's hands that made all the earth drunk. The nations have drunken of her wine. All of the nations that's in cahoots with America. The allies, NATO. You see, you hear, can you conceive? Do you believe? It says that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. And her wine is ideologies, philosophies, the ways, etc., etc. It says they mad now. This is why you see these nations coming up with bricks, trying to create their own currency, trying to do their own thing, trying to be, fully sovereign. It says Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. America. And there's a lot of people that knows this by now. Gentiles, heathens, and Israelites. But it, by so much prophetic things happening, you should very well know that this place is Babylon. It says Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her, take balm for her pain. If so, she may be healed. We will have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her and let us go everyone into his own country. For her judgment reach unto heaven and is lifted up even to the skies. So this is a prophetic event. This is prophetic. This is future events. This is future vision, if you will, that was given to Jeremiah. It says, make bright, prophet Jeremiah, which we can interpret and understand now. Are we some of those prophets? I don't know. Are we some of those apostles? Who knows? It says, make bright the arrows, gather the shields. The Lord has raised up the spirit of kings of the Medes, for his device is against Babylon to destroy it. And we like to, it's not even like we like to say, but we match up Medes with Russia and Babylon with America. When you tie it all in, China, that's America's two biggest ops, right? Their biggest ops is China and Russia. It says maybe North Korea, the third op, but we know who doesn't like us. We know Russia doesn't like us. We know China doesn't like us either, or North Korea. When I say us, U.S., us, U.S., USA, Babylon. But anyway, it says, make bright the arrows, gather the shields. The Lord has raised up the spirit of the kings of the Medes, for his Medes, however you want to slice it. It says, for his devices against Babylon to destroy it, because it is the vengeance. So Yahweh is going to put his anger into these nations to basically bring those nukes here to America. That's just what it is. This is what the prophecy is speaking. This is what the prophecy is saying. It says because it is the vengeance of Yahweh, the vengeance of his temple. It says, set up the standard upon the walls of Babylon, make the watch strong, set up the watchmen, prepare the ambushes, for Yahweh have both devised and done that which he speak against the inhabitants of Babylon. O thou that dwellest among many waters. America dwells between many waters, I believe. Yeah. Transatlantic, that body of water, the other body of water on the other end of Hawaii, California, and then the other body of water that's on New York, on the New York side, the East Coast side. I believe those are three different bodies of waters. So the prophecy is linking in. It all links up, all links in. It says, O thou that dwellest upon many waters. This is how America gets the shipments in. This is how America can ship things out and ship things in through these waterways. It says, O thou that dwellest upon many waters, abundant in treasures. Yeah, America is, what they say, America is the place of dreams, right? The American dream. Land of opportunity. It says, thy end is come, and in the measure of thy covetousness. It says, Yahweh have sworn by himself, saying, surely I will fill thee with men as with caterpillars, and they shall lift up and shout against thee. It says, he have made the earth by his power, he have established the world by his wisdom, and have stretched out the heaven by his understanding. And that's going off into that. But we just got the point of the chapter. So this is the final chapter to bring it all the way back to the subject matter of this lesson. And you may find that us apostles, teachers, scholars, studiers, whatever you want to call us, you may hear us bring these lessons out over and over and over again. You may even hear us bring out certain verses out, scrolls out over and over again. But you got to understand, practice, as they say in the world, practice makes perfect. Or as I say, repetition is the father of perfection. Repetition is the father of perfection. So that's just what it is. Let's go into Joel, man, Prophet Joel, chapter 3. Because this thing is going to be, and it's going to happen, man. It's going to happen. Everybody like to say, it's not going to happen. Scoffers, mockers. Scoffers and mockers, mockers and scoffers. But you got to understand, as Yahweh deals with he has the power to bring everything down overnight. Let's just be honest. Yahweh can bring everything down overnight. He can bring all these prophecies to pass overnight. But he doesn't, because like he said in Second Esdras, through the angel to the prophet Ezra, that everything is steps. He deals with steps. He deals with steps, build-ups. That's just how he does it. If that's the case, then Israel would have had the kingdom, and we would already been in Israel already. And all of Romans 9:4 would have happened. We would be in Israel already, the kingdom. We would have just had the kingdom from the start, and everything would be what it's supposed to be from the start. But he deals with steps. He deals with build-ups. He deals with scenes, if you will. Why can't the movie just go to why can't you just jump to the end of the movie? You got the scenes, the build-ups, the turning events, the plot twist. And that's what Yahweh does. He has the scenes, the plot twist, the climax. He deals in steps and build-ups, progression. Keep telling you, man. Everybody, they copy off of Yahweh, man. Just the same way this devil is going to bring in this chip, this mark of the beast. He brings it in by steps, progression. Where do you think they get that off of? Yahweh. Yahweh is the creator of everything, man. He's the creator of everything, man. They deal with steps and progression because, Yahweh deals with steps and progression, prophetic events. We could if we had it our way, we'd already be in the kingdom. The world would be the way the world's supposed to be, according to Prophet Ezra. The world is made for Israel's sake. For their sake, I made the world. But, prophecies, prophetic events, steps, progression, plot twist, next scene, this scene, that scene, climax, the end. Joel 3, it says, proclaim ye this among the heathen, the Gentiles. Prepare war, wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near it. So Yahweh is going to put it in all these nations' hearts, spirits, to come against Babylon. It says, Prepare war, wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. Assemble yourselves and come, all you heathen. The nation of Edom, the nation of Ham, the nation of Ammon, the nation of Moab, the nation of Japheth, the nation of Ishmael, the nation of Syria, the nation of did I say Moab, Ammon? All of the Gentile nations. It says, and gather yourselves together round about. So Yahweh is going to put it in these nations' spirit to do what he wants them to do. Just like he does everything on the earth. Just what it is. Assemble yourselves and come, all you heathen, and gather yourselves together round about thither. It says, cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Yahweh. Let the heathen be weakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, or Yahweh Shaphat. The valley of Jehoshaphat, for there will I sit to judge all the Gentiles, all the heathen round about. It says, put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, get ye down. Come get down. For the press is full. The fats overflow, for their wickedness is great. Multitudes, multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of Yahweh is near in the valley of decision. And that's World War III. I'll say that again. That is World War III. The valley of Yahweh Shaphat, the valley of decision. All of these nations coming on down to bring forth the climax, man. This is all prophetic events, and you can believe it or not, but it's going to happen. And that's a spiritual number, 414, 414, man, 144, the elect. The elect. Just in case you thought I was pulling your tail, look at that. 414, 144. It's a spiritual number. Very spiritual number. Spiritual number, man. You know what? I'm going to end it with that. I'm going to end it. As a matter of fact, let's grab another prophecy. Spiritual food, man. This is all spiritual food for your spirit. Staying in the spirit, eating the spiritual food, prepping the spiritual food, man. The scriptures, the scrolls. Man should not live off bread alone. And we know these things are going to happen because the Israelites are not in the kingdom, man. The Israelites are not home. We're still scattered to the four corners, far away from our borders. So this is how we know all of these prophecies that these brothers bring out, all of the prophecies that these sisters bring out is going to happen. And I'm going to grab, I'll probably grab two more. Luke 12:49. Luke 12:49. It says, this is Yahweh Shai. It says, I am come to send fire on the earth. And what will I, if it be already kindled? That's Luke 12:49. And that's what Yahweh Shai is coming to do. Chiefly Yahweh. Luke 12:49. And then we can go with Isaiah 66. Because it's going to be chariot fire and it's going to be nuke fire. You know, the nukes are going to go off and the chariots are going to go off. Isaiah 66:15, it says, for behold, the Lord, Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, will come with fire and with his chariots like a whirlwind to render his anger with fury and his rebuke with flames of fire. For by fire and by his sword will Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushua, Yahweh plead with all flesh, and the slain of Yahweh shall be many. So that's what's coming. It's gonna be, fire is coming. You know, he destroyed the old world with water. He destroyed the old world with water, but he's going to destroy this world with fire. And when we say world, we're talking about the kingdom. Whatever kingdom is, you know, is in rulership. Because just like how the world was flooded with water, you see we're still here. Or eventually we all got here, right? Because he's not going to destroy he's not going to destroy the whole world. He destroyed the old world with water, but yet somehow we still got here. Because the world sustained itself, because he only destroyed those people, that kingdom, or that portion of land with that water, with the flood of Noah. He's going to do the same thing, destroy those people, that region, that portion, that land with fire this time. But the world is still going to be here. So it's an end of rulership, an end of rulership. That's really what it is, an end of madness, wickedness. And if we're not the apostles, scholars, prophets, then I don't know who is. Who else is bringing out this truth, like the apostles on down, and like our elders? And you can't even grasp this knowledge. You can't even grasp this knowledge and stay consistent with it if you're not the elect. Let's just call a spade a spade. Let's just call a spade, man. So that's the ending of this place. And people know, man. People know. People see. People see. People know. They understand. But everybody likes to, you know, try to kick the can down the road, try to put their head in the sand. But you can't stop prophecy. With that, I'm going to say, Call Halam La Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Kadash Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahushai. No mortal can stop prophecy.